can you hear me now? Hi, everybody, can you hear me now? Hi, folks, can you hear me now? We'll get into that in just a moment. Hey, guys, can you all hear me? Yeah, salty. Salty. Understand every word. Good, good. There you go. Yeah, sorry, Grizz, you can't say one of the words you just texted, so you got to clean it up a little bit. It's on the 7 words never to be used, so. Nice haircut. You like that, huh? Yeah. Sure, why not? It's only minus 20 degrees outside. Might as well cut my hair off. Just felt like going to take a shower and trim it up a little bit. It was getting a little furry. How is everybody this Sunday evening, huh? Hope you guys are nice and warm. It has been chilly willy up here. Our high today was minus 11. That was the high for the day, and now it's gotten dark outside and cold. But it is cranking inside the cabin here. I think I'm at 78 degrees right now. I'm at 85 degrees inside the cabin right now. So it's pretty warm. Tasmanian devil, huh? No, just, oh, now, come on. It's not that bad. Took a lot of the gray off, but I have a little too much gray in the beard. I'm going to have to take the beard off completely and get rid of all that gray. So 35 here and got our first snow today. Well, there you go, Chips. 35. 35 degrees is t-shirt weather for us Alaskans, by the way. Yes, Grizz, that's right. You can't say shite. You have to change it to something else. There you go. And I had no control over that. It just does that automatically. Well, I set it up originally that way, but it's just the way it is now. So just so you guys know. Anyhow, I thought we'd just chat for a little bit, say hello to everybody before we get into the main part of this. Let some folks get here. Small crowd so far this evening, but we'll see how it blows. Lily, go lay down. Lily, go lay down. She's just trying to get into trouble. You're just trying to get into trouble, aren't you? Go on, go lay down, why don't you? There you go. Okay. Okay, Grizz, I'm glad it's all cool. Anyhow, couple of things I wanted to touch base with you guys about. And frankly, it's a little unfair of me, but it's something that I'm doing. And I just want to be upfront about it so you guys understand and can have maybe a little different perspective, about where I'm coming from. So here's the thing. Hey, Teresa Dean, how you doing, T? Hello, Patrick Austin. Hey, Mark. Inanna, I like it. Okay, Inanna, sure, good. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. All right, here's the thing, guys. I live up here in Alaska all by myself. It's just me, myself, and the dog, and frankly, Miss Lily isn't very good at answering questions or not much with, verbal communications. I try to sound some ideas off of her, and I just get a blank look, kind of like I'm getting from her right now. She has not a clue what I'm talking about. She just looks at me and cocks her head to the side and looks at me like I'm an idiot human. So what I do, this is one of the rare opportunities that I have to talk to a bunch of folks that obviously care about me, care enough to watch the live stream. And I use you guys sort of as my sounding board, as my board of directors, as my, I don't know what you'd call it. You guys are just, my mentors, I guess, maybe, for lack of a better term. And so I try to run a lot of ideas past you guys and have you guys sound some stuff out for me. And I really pay a lot of close attention to the comments from the people here on the live stream. And as such, I'm going to continue doing that. But I kind of want you guys to understand. I had a few people that had concerns with the fact that maybe I wasn't as strong. They thought maybe I showed weakness because I was polling you guys and asking questions and for advice and that kind of stuff. And And nothing could be further from the truth. I obviously have a very strong idea of what I'm doing and where I'm going. I just want to bounce ideas off you guys. Mindless minions. No, I don't think so. Sorrente, yeah, to some degree, you guys are the people that keep me sane. And Rhonda, I like you guys are my think tank. There you go. That's a good way of describing it. You guys are my think tank. So here's the thing. No, Teresa, I don't doubt myself. I just, when you live by yourself, you get ideas that might seem really sane, and to me, but to other people would think it's batshit crazy. So sometimes I feel it's a good idea to check myself a little bit, and maybe try to get a little positive feedback, see if I'm heading in the right direction with stuff. And that's kind of what I'm prefacing all this because I've got some questions to ask you guys, and I want you guys to kind of see where we're at. So here's the deal. As Mark or Grizz, somebody noted, Inanna. Inanna, Inanna, is a female deity of the Assyrian, even before that. Have my notes with me. She's Babylonian, actually, which is pre-Syrian, which is pre-Akkadian. Mark says I know her well. She was a female goddess before the Egyptians. We're talking about like 3000 BC. And what's interesting about her is, well, a number of things, but most notably, she's the only deity that's been known to descend into the underworld and then come back up to the surface. Now, what the hell does that have to do with anything? Well, here it is. As a sailor who's going to be doing a lot of scuba diving, I'm trying to find who's the god of scuba diving. Well, there isn't one. There's no deity out there that talks about it because, of course, the concept of scuba diving was so foreign to the ancients. And I'm kind of tied with another challenge in that typically sailors will name their boat after their wives or daughters. Well, right now, my wives and daughters are a little estranged from me since I'm in the process of getting divorced, and the daughter that I have is actually a stepdaughter, and so that's not going to be a good idea for me. Plus, I'm really trying to divorce myself from all that and get a fresh start. So I'm trying to find a name for my project. As some of you guys know, Grandpa's Farm is all about homesteading and farming, and now we're going in a different direction. Hey, Che, ¿qué pasó, amigo? ¿Qué tal? That means, how you doing? What's going on? So the idea would be to find another name for my ship. Now, Jacques Cousteau used Calypso, and Calypso was sort of a god of the seas, more modern time god of the seas, somewhat feared. But, he's been there and done that. So I was looking for something else, a female deity that I could use for Grandpa's mom. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to do any saltwater farming. Anyhow, I was looking for a female deity to go with the boat. And so I came to Inanna. So let me tell you about Inanna and see what you guys think about her, okay? Because she's pretty interesting. Okay, she's originally from, as I said, pre-Babylonian, actually Mesopotamia. She was from the Uruk, U-R-A-K, Uruk period, which was between 4000 and 3100 BC, somewhere in that timeline. She was mostly associated with the city of Uruk, which is a city that was on the banks of the Euphrates River in what is now known as Iraq, which used to be all green, lush farmland, and now is desert. Shows you how our planet evolves in 4,000 years. That's just 4,000 years. That wasn't very long. And a couple of interesting things for her. One, she's the only deity that's been known to descend into the underworld and then return to the surface. So it really is kind of cool for me because it's a name that I could use. St. Nicholas is the patron saint of sailors. Yeah, I really don't want to name my sailboat Christmas or Santa Claus, which is what people would jump to that. So I thought about that. Amphrite was the goddess queen of the sea, wife of Poseidon. Yes, and probably not a good idea to tempt fate and piss off Poseidon, reminding him about his errant wife. So I thought I would avoid that because, Poseidon obviously is a very important person to keep on your side as you're sailing the world's oceans. So I thought I would skip that. Anyhow, so I went back and I looked and looked and looked and I found Inanna. But if we can find some other people, then let's certainly look at that. And I don't mean to be argumentative with you guys and shoot down your ideas. I'm just vocalizing to you guys kind of what my thoughts were when I looked at those names. And I'd be interested in getting more feedback from you guys. So anyhow, she's very ancient, been around for a long time. She was in a place that used to be farmland, which has a ties to me, obviously, with farms and stuff. In fact, at the time, she was the goddess of fertility. Actually, I think her exact titles were, she was the goddess of love, fertility, and warfare. Interesting combination. So fertility, I thought, was interesting. Again, another tie back to my origins of being into farming and stuff. I kind of like the idea that she's from Iran. Maybe as I'm traveling, it might insert a little conversation about peace in the region and an acceptance of that stuff, which might help a little bit. Che, you got to type in English, dude. Please. No habla español, habla muy poquito español, but type in English, please, so we can understand. Anyhow, it's interesting that her symbols that she used that represent her are pretty interesting. The symbol you see here on the left is the symbol for a god. That's what that means, a god or goddess. This is early Babylonian or Old Babylonian cuneiform. And then the symbol on the right, the thing that looks like an M with a line through it, that's the symbol for Inanna. And the two of these combined is what gives her proper name. So that's our logo, actually, if you will. I was thinking of using this ancient cuneiform as the logo. But what's interesting is that the first one, the symbol for God, is very much like the kind of compass star that was well known amongst the mariners of the day, having the compass. And so quite often we will see an 8-sided star, as this is, embedded into the woodwork or, part of the culture, if you will, for the sailing community. So again, another tie-in that I kind of like to what I was going to be doing, the 8-sided rosette. Okay, what else was interesting about her? She has a long sailing history. Apparently, she made a lot of voyages, mostly to bring supplies into the town of Uruk and to get away from suitors that were trying to get her, because apparently a lot of people back in the day were trying to possess her, if you know what I mean. Anyhow, so that's kind of some of my reasoning why I thought she might be a good name for what I'm doing. And of course, she's kind of unique. Inanna, Inanna, basically, which I thought was a pretty interesting name. So with that, I was not able to follow along with much of the comments while all that was going on. So I'll ask you again, if you have any particular yay or nay about that name, whether you like it or not, then please, you know, then please make some more comments so that I can see what your comments were, and we can proceed a little bit further. My ex-husband said his grades were so good he went through the front door and was rushed out the back. You're Risha, or goddess of the living ocean. Consider the mother of all. She is the source of all waters. Yemaya. I will look that up. Thank you. Thank you, Lady Hawthorne. I appreciate that. Orisha. I'm trying to write without shaking my little table here that the computer's on. So, Inanna. Yes, Mark, that would be the correct pronunciation. Inanna. Okay. Now, here's the second part of my question in regards to the name. Well, Nanabu YouTube BBJ. Okay. Okay. The next thing is the acronym at the beginning of the boat. As most of you probably know, you've heard of boats having MV or SV, and then the name of the boat. SV for sailing vessel, MV for motor vessel. If you're a fan of music, then you've probably heard about the play, the HMS Pinafore, which is Her Majesty's ship, Pinafore, HMS. So it's quite common in the marine genre for there to be a identifier preceding the name of the boat. And so typically my sailboat, since I'm going to be in a sailboat, should be SV, or sailing vessel. I should have it be SV and then Inanna being the name. But then, a lot of what I'm going to be doing a lot of research. And so I thought, well, maybe I should do SRV Inanna, sailing research vessel. And then I thought, well, kind of doing a lot of exploring too, so it should be SERV. And by the way, exploration vessel, research vessel are common initials to be used as precursors for a lot of ships. But then that gives me a precursor that is SERV, Sailing Exploration Research Vessel Inanna, which gets to be kind of long. But I do think it's pretty cool that it would be SERV, which is, one letter shy of the word serve, and I've always been a big supporter of the idea of public service and that people should serve our society. So just a thought. What do you guys think about that? Is SERV too much? Should I just stick with SV? Should I have SRV, SERV, SEV? I kind of like the idea of having all four, SERV, because it does the best job of explaining what I am. I'm going to be a sailing, exploration, and research vessel. So what say you to my board of directors here, my compadres? What do you think about that? I'm going to take a sip here and let you guys post some comments. Mark likes serve. Okay. Does anybody have a problem also with Inanna as a name for the project? I think it's something that people like, be very memorable. Lady Hawthorne, I like serve. Okay, good. Come on, guys. There's 27 people out there watching right now. I've only got 2 people commenting. You guys got to quit hiding in the background. Let's step up. Hey, bud. Good deal. Thank you, sir. Serve. You like serve. Okay. Nope, I like it. It is different. Okay. You like Inanna or you like serve? Which one, Teresa? I'd be interested to know your specific. By the way, I saw your Facebook post. Nice picture of you that I saw today. Very cool. Okay, I'm going to like with whatever you come up with. Well, Grizz, I know that. Sounds pretty. Judy, sounds pretty. So SRV Inanna sounds pretty. It does sound pretty, I guess, doesn't all of it? Okay. Huh. All right, well. Why don't I ask the Coast Guard if they know what serve means? Yeah, I think the Coast Guard knows what serve means, but to them it's a little different perspective, I guess. They're out there to serve and protect, much like the rest of our law enforcement. But yes, the Coast Guard will know that SERV means Sailing Exploration Research Vessel. This is, I'm not, making these initials up. This is something that's readily accepted. Che likes SRV, Sailing Research Vessel. You don't like the expiration on there. Sorrenti too, huh? Okay. No problem with Inanna as long as you don't refer to her as a was and beckon her temperament. Oh, yeah, it's true. Now, well, just like any ladies, right, Chris? You just got, or Mark, you just got to be very careful how you handle them. And she's a vindictive deity, so I got to be real careful and make sure I do a good job. Don't forget the periods between the letters. Yes, SERV. Yes, of course. If you're really asking me, I would say name the boat Calico or Tiger. Calico or Tiger. None of those make any sense whatsoever, Grizz, but okay. You're a bit of an odd duck. You know that? I like you, but you're a bit of an odd duck. Okay, so now that we've covered most of the things, no, I got a lot of stuff to talk about yet. I wanted to just, take an opportunity to tell you guys how much I appreciate, being able to bounce ideas like this off of you. And Grizz, I like the idea of cat names if I was selling on a catamaran. I'm not selling on a catamaran. I'll be selling a monohull. Ladies. Don't forget the period between letters. Okay, love kitties. Yeah, I know you do. It ties in with this here kitty. Yeah, I got that, Rhonda. Yep, I got that. I'm not that slow. Thank you, dear. Okay. Anyhow, I just wanted to thank you guys for letting me use you guys as sort of a sounding board and to bounce ideas off. I think it's important that I have some people to remind me of reality. By the way, just in case you guys are interested, here is a carving of her and what she looked like. And quite often she was depicted standing on top of two lions. I don't know why she would be standing on top of two lions, but almost every depiction of her has her standing on top of two lions. And other depictions I have seen of her, actually, can't say this time. Hi and bye. Have a good day, Caleb. Sorry, buddy. We'll see you later. Anyhow, most of the depictions I've seen of her, she usually has bikini bottoms on. And in this particular one, she doesn't have much of anything. And yeah, maybe the lions are the warfare aspect of it. But there you go, Grizz. There's cats involved. She is standing on top of a pair of lions. So even once I buy a catamaran, there still might be some truth to continuing that name. So, would anybody like Cuban cigars? I have much of them. Well, Che, of course, people. Well, actually, I don't smoke, so I don't want any Cuban cigars, but people might like them. Anyhow, so there's going to be the new logo. I kind of like that. It's very simplistic. I can see that blown up on the sails of the boat, not on the bow. And it's something unique that I think people will follow. I am bothered the fact that it takes two symbols to make her name, but it is what it is. And I've even thought about maybe superimposing one over the other. It doesn't work. It's the compass with the M with the line through it. And this is old cuneiform. This is actually the original language. This was writing before we had writing today. This was simply, and they were made by taking a chisel and making one smack, and that's why you see it's thick at one end and thin at the other, because of the way they angle the chisel had meaning in the way this was typed up. So this old cuneiform stuff is pretty neat stuff. Okay, Sumerian. Actually, yes, pre-Sumerian, actually. The Sumerians and the Akkadians came later on after the Babylonians and the Mesopotamians. The Babylonians and the Mesopotamians were there first, and then they evolved into becoming the Sumerians, which later on became the Akkadians. So pretty interesting stuff. Okay. So with you guys' permission now, I'm going to move on. I think the Greeks adopted her lions as Nemean lions. Maybe so. Maybe so. But anyhow, we're going to go ahead and do some shout outs. So I've got a couple channels, and if my good buddy Rhonda will pull up the links and put them up there, I would certainly appreciate that. Apparently SERV is not a known pre-search Google ship prefix list. Todd, it's not a as all as one thing. It's not, but if you break it down individually, it is. It is. There are exploration vessels. There are research vessels. Most of them are motor vessels, so it might be MERV, M-E-R-V, or MRV, or MEV. I'm about the only sailing vessel out there. So, but I appreciate the effort and you researching that. That's awesome. Anyhow, this is the website for Rick Moore. Rick is a guy who has a cruising channel on YouTube. You guys might want to check out. It's just his name, RickMoore. And he has a boat called Sophisticated Lady, which he keeps in St. Martin in the Caribbean. But he does some interesting videos of sailing and traveling around that area. The guy is a professional photographer, and so he has a lot of drone footage, a lot of good pictures and stuff, and some interesting stuff. So I thought you might want to check him out. And then the other shout out that I wanted to do, hey, Basics to Living, nice to see you guys, is to this channel. And this guy here is SV Delos. This is two brothers and lots of scantily clad women following along with them. But I figured I was going to have to get to them sooner or later. I should just get to them now and get them out of the way. These guys have been sailing around the world. They're originally from Seattle area. And they've got a pretty nice boat. But so they do a lot of partying, a lot of drinking, and carrying on. And anyhow, they're one of the bigger channels in the cruising genre. I think they've got almost 200,000 subscribers, whereas Rick Moore's only got like 55,000 subscribers. But still pretty nice channels to watch. A lot can be learned about sailing and cruising if you're in those areas or want to look at that kind of stuff. But anyhow, those were my shout outs for today, were those two channels. So I have a panther tattoo. Oh, cool. Sibel rides panthers. She rides panthers instead of lions. I see. Okay. CSTA guy, cast CSTAGUI, cast guy. Okay. We'll check that out. My Indian name is White Panther. That's cool, Teresa. Very nice. Sounds like our kind of boat, not would interfere with my afternoon naps. Yeah. Yeah, pretty low key boat, but CSTA guy, Casta guy. Okay, there's some shout outs. If you guys have a particular cruising channel, not a homesteading channel, which I used to do, but since we're switching over to cruising channels, I'd like to see you go ahead and post those up. Some interesting things. I'm going to be starting a whole new channel. SERV Inanna then will become a completely new channel. I will be shutting down Grandpa's farm, or just mothballing it for the time being. Once I start sailing. Now I'm going to keep doing Grandpa's farm and keep updating this and putting content up until the time that I buy the boat and take off. So, I figure another 6 months or so, 5 months or so, we'll be continuing putting stuff up here on Grandpa's farm. But once we buy the boat and get going, then we'll start putting content up on the new channel. I need to make a clean break. I need to put this property, the failed marriage, I need to put all that stuff behind me and start fresh with something new. Some of you guys have actually commented and suggested that. So that's kind of what I'm doing. Have you figured out what boat you want or looking at one yet? No, Teresa, I have to get the property here sold first. and my wife filed papers to stop me from being able to sell it, so that slowed things down. So I don't know. I've got a court hearing this next week. I'm sure we'll probably get something going as soon as that hearing is over. I've got a couple motions I filed. Actually, I should have heard back from them already and have not. So I might be able to win this thing on a technicality because they failed to meet the calendar. We'll find out. I'll know more by Tuesday for sure. So we're going to see what happens. Get more colorful shirts. I'm sorry. Hey, man, I got a hell of a deal on shirts at Wally World. They were selling T-shirts my size for $5. So I grabbed 12 of them. I got black ones, white ones, blue ones, red ones. I didn't get the gaudy colors. Maybe I should have. Yeah, I'm not fighting over custody, Teresa. I'm sorry to hear that. Yellow sailboat. Yeah. Yeah, yellow. Not sure if I'm too keen on yellow. I kind of like a nice, clean white boat. Where will you live once you sell your property before you buy your boat? Sorrenti, I will make arrangements to be able to stay here until I've found the boat, which I will, of course, as real estate happens, I'll know that we're closing on a certain day, and I will have already shopped and found the boat that I want to buy. I will already have put a deposit down on the boat, and so it'll be a matter of closing on this property, and the next day I'll move everything on board the boat. I'll be going from here straight to the sailboat. Actually, I'll probably buy the boat and start fixing it up even before I get this sold. So, me to pay all his legal fees. Yeah, Teresa, I'm sorry. Yeah, my soon-to-be ex-wife did the same thing. She hired a lawyer, now wants me to pay for it. Yeah, not at all fun. Not at all fun. What's a little racy for me? Tie-dye that one. Yeah, there's an idea. I could tie-dye. It's not too racy for me, Rhonda. How dare you? And, of course, RV. Well, RV as opposed to recreational vehicle or research vessel. But I'm a sailing research vessel, so it'd be SRV. As seasick as I get, I would call the boat the Green Bobber. Okay. Interesting. Very interesting. Okay, so I was going to do a little show and tell for you guys today. And that tied into this stuff. And what I was trying to show you here. This is obviously a mask for swimming underwater and a snorkel. You can see that. Okay. Now I'm going to shake this up, move this back a little bit so I get a bit bigger camera angle. All right, so this is a mask for snorkeling or for scuba diving, but this one in specific, you see how small this is here? The distance from here to here is really small. This is a free diving mask. This is designed specifically for free diving. You notice it doesn't have very good visibility on the sides, just straight out the front. This mask is designed specifically for free diving and not for snorkeling or for scuba diving. Now, what's the difference, you ask? Did you ask that? No, but I'm going to put that in there anyway. Judy, this one does not have prescription lenses. I don't need prescription lenses. What I really prefer in my glasses, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, like on my sunglasses here. You look at it from the other side. I don't know if you can see that. They're bifocals. Okay. What I really like on my scuba mask are bifocals. And what I can buy is I can buy lenses that I can glue to the inside here that will enable me to look out straight out without any magnification. But I can look down and have my prescription, which isn't a prescription. I just have a, what is it? These are 200s or 170s or so. A magnification so I can see my gauges and stuff. So so this one does not have that, but you can get them. What's the difference, you ask? Okay, so for free diving is made to go snorkeling basically, but to go down very deep and to go down very deep water. It's not made for really shallow water. You snorkel, which is a mask, a snorkel, and fins, short fins for shallow water. When you go free diving, you need long fins. Long fins. Okay? These fins are longer than my arm. They're probably 39 inches long. They're very, I don't know if you see all that. They're very, very long. They are rubber, soft rubber here, and I wear a little booty when I'm wearing them. I put on a little booty. These are sized for my feet plus the booty. So if I were to put these on without my booties on, they fall off my feet. So I've got to have them the right size. But these are free diving fins and are made for going very deep without scuba gear. That's why they're very long. You get the most out of your kick when you're going down with those. Now, the problem is they wear your legs out very quickly because it takes a lot of effort for that. Stuff's 25 years old. Ever get mask squeeze? Yes, get mask squeeze all the time. It's easy to relieve mask squeeze. You just exhale out your nose a little bit. Keep a little pressure in there, okay? Not that difficult. This one fits me very well. The rule of thumb is you put it up and you inhale. And if it sticks, it's the right fit for you. Now, for me, this ain't sticking so well right now. And here's why. The flavor saver. The mustache lets this leak in here. So I end up having to push the nose thing tight up under my nose to try to get a seal. Or as I do when I'm scuba diving, this goes. Got to take it off because or I can take the mustache off and leave the beard, but I always thought that looked stupid. So I'll probably just take them off so that I get a good seal around my mask. Because I hate when I'm scuba diving and I lose, or I have a leak in there and getting water in there all the time. Now, as you go into depth, as you go deeper, because when you jump in the water, you're at the same atmosphere that we're at. Every 3 feet, you pick up 1 atmosphere of pressure. So as I go down, 12 feet, I'm at 4 atmospheres of pressure greater than what we are on the surface, and then this will seal better. So what happens is by having the mustache is I get a lot of water in my mask when I'm snorkeling, but not when I'm scuba diving. So another reason why I prefer going deeper, scuba diving, and yes, some free diving. You must ask me a question. Oh, Mark, you're hard. I try to use fins while swimming. I always freak out and feel like I'm drowning. Yeah, using fins is just something you got to get accustomed to. Like anything else, you just have to get accustomed to it for a while. You'll have to spit twice for that setup. Yes, because it's 2 separate lenses. And for those of you that don't know, Judy brought up a good point. When you're scuba diving, your lenses fog up. Your body is warmer than the air, causes condensation in these little pockets in here, and so the lenses fog up. The best way to deal with that is you spit a big old loogie on there, and you rub that on the mask, on the glass, and that tends to stop them from fogging. They also have stuff you can put on. You can buy bottles of stuff and put it on there, but why? You always have spit. At least you should always have spit. If you can't spit, then you need to get out of the water and hydrate some. But yeah, it's to keep the mask from. Now, I actually don't really care too much for this kind of style because one of the things I like to do when I'm scuba diving is I keep a little bit of water in my bottom of my lens. That way I just put my face down and I wiggle my face side to side and the mask will come down and that water will go back and forth and clean the fog off inside there for me. With these, I can't do that. Now, these also have a little retaining clip here on the side. That's to hold the snorkel. This is the snorkel, and this is the kind of snorkel I prefer, okay? One of the new fads is they put these floats here on the end to stop it from leaking. It's a little ball that'll close that hose off. When you go under water, a ball will come up and close that hose off, stopping water from being able to get down in there. I hate those. I absolutely hate those kinds of snorkels. I breathe, I inhale and exhale a lot of air. I like just a big diameter, as big a diameter as I can get, big around, and a straight tube. I want nothing here. I don't want any little purge valves here on the bottom. Some of them will have a little valve here on the bottom that will, if you blow out, will blow the water, because you will get water in here when you go underwater. I hate those, okay? I inhale so large a volume that those little valves will let water back inside, so they defeat the purpose. I like a solid tube with nothing in it. That way I get a solid breath in and out. What you do is you dive underwater. When you're underwater, this is going to get, bubbles are going to come out. It's going to fill with water. When you get to the surface, you blow out, blow the thing free, and then you can breathe without a problem. Are you going to get the rebreathing gear? Teresa, I will be getting rebreathing gear. I don't know how quickly. I will guarantee you at some point I will have rebreathers. I don't know how quickly I'll be able to get them. A lot of it's going to be a matter of my economics and certification. I have advanced open water scuba diving certification. I need to get a nitrox and a rebreather course in order to be able to get that. Grapefruit juice. Really helping my diet. And for those of you that might be wondering, I feel awesome having losing some weight. Really feel awesome. My high-end NBC gas mask has a special mouthpiece that blocks condensation from forming in the lens. Do masks like those not have them? No, because we can't get airflow inside the lens like your NBC gas mask would. It would actually blow air in there, and that's what clears the lens. And when you're underwater, you don't have that ability. Or scrubbers, as you would call them. Yes, as an air scrubber. Yes, I will be buying a rebreather. I'm hoping if my channel becomes popular enough that they might decide to give me one just for the promotion and marketing aspect of it. But we'll see. My first snorkel had a ball in a cage. Was good learning tube for me first 15 minutes. Yeah, those kinds of things are great for beginners and stuff. But I find, and maybe just because I'm old school, you know, when I first learned how to scuba dive, we didn't have any of the fancy gear like they have today. I had a scuba tank with a regulator, with a single air hose that came around to my mouth. And that was attached to a piece of plywood, basically, that was strapped onto my back with pretty rough straps. I didn't have a what's known as a BCD, a buoyancy compensator. Didn't have any of those back then. Weight belt was simply just a heavy fabric belt with lead weights on it, much like they are today. Although my new gear that I have, and I may show that the next live stream, my buoyancy compensator actually has pockets. I have weights that go in those pockets. Those pockets are quick release. So if I get in trouble, I can pull them and drop them quickly and head to the surface. Just sort of a unique stuff. And we'll get into some of the scuba gear later on as we go into that. Heard that about using mustache wax. Lonely. Okay, click on the Patreon link on this page. Yes, guys, if you would, please, somebody get on there and pledge $1 a month or something, will you? So I have somebody on my Patreon page. I would definitely have to shave my upper face if I was to dive again. Yes, and much as I like my beard and mustache, I much prefer scuba diving. So you're not allowed to use products like that. One, they eat at the rubber or material seals, and then fires will burn you with it on. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about, Teresa. What products you're talking about? You like using like Vaseline or something like that? I don't know. We use a lot of products scuba diving because you're always putting suntan lotion and stuff on. Plus, I wear a hood and a do-rag to keep the sun off my skin so I don't get sunburned. Guys, you have not been sunburned. You have not been sunburned until you've been sunburned after a day of snorkeling. Because you get the back of your head, you get your shoulders, and down both your legs. You think because you're in the water you wouldn't get sunburned? Wrong. Worst sunburn I ever got in my life, I got while snorkeling. Okay, my dad needed a belt. He kept floating up all the time. That cruise line food. All that. Yeah, Judy, I am a bobber. If you throw me in the water, I float. In fact, if I'm upright, water level's about, well, you can't even see it. It's tilt the computer. It's about here on me. Rest on up. I sit out of the water. I sit high in the water because I have so much flotation that I have. Now, I imagine as I lose weight, I'll sink deeper. But I always wear weights. In fact, last I scuba dived, I was looking at my dive log. I was wearing 24 pounds of lead. 24 pounds of lead to keep me at negative buoyancy. If I shave, I lose my strength just like Samson. Okay. Just live with a slow leak. Lonely, you don't have near the experience, but snorkeling, I just lived with the slow leak. Yeah. Yeah, no problem with a little leak. Was talking with LPH, can't use products when using firefighter gear, the SCB. Yeah, that's true, Teresa. You can't use your SCBA. I don't know if you guys know this, but I volunteered at the fire department in Montana for a dozen years. And so, did a lot of fire training. The SCBAs, not SCUBA, but the SCBAs, self-contained breathing apparatus used by the fire service area, is not the same stuff that you would use for scuba diving. It's not made for a watertight seal. And you definitely don't want leaks in those because quite often you're wearing an SCBA to protect you from toxic chemical fumes and stuff. It's different than letting a little water in that you can purge out. You guys could be into something toxic. So big difference there. I once freaked the ship's doctor. Okay. Yep, got burned in Florida snorkeling. Yep. Divers have to wear weights. Not all divers have to wear weights. Some people are naturally heavy and just sink. And a lot of people don't know this, but people will float at the surface, and once they dive and get down, 10 or 12 feet, the difference in the atmospheric pressure that you achieve compresses your body sufficiently that allow you to be less buoyant. The deeper you go, the less buoyant you become. Never had a problem with scuba either. Was corporate certified firefighter. Guess my face is different. Yeah, everybody's face is different, and a lot of those masks will leak. It's hard to get a good seal on them. You just got to try different models till you find one that you like. There are some out there. Spiro's, Interspiro, I think is the one that I had that felt me pretty good. Caribbean, Carribbean, Caribbean. Maybe I spelled that wrong. Keeps you down, you have to let out the ballasters. Yeah, Tree, when I dove, we didn't have ballast breathing apparatus like that. When I learned to dive, I first learned to dive in Jamaica when I was really young. I went scuba diving, resort type course, that kind of stuff. And did a little bit. When I went overseas to Bahrain and finished my senior year of high school, I spent half the day every day in the pool scuba diving. And my instructor was a U.S. Navy SEAL, so I really learned to scuba dive very well and got very comfortable with scuba diving. So I've always been very comfortable with it ever since then. Suggestion, is there a per month option instead of a per video? Yes. Yeah, Mark, you go in there and you choose if you're on Patreon, you can choose that you want to donate like $1 per video, and then you can set a monthly limit. So you can say, I want to do, the $1 per video thing. And of course, I do 30 of them a month, so that'd be $30. That could get expensive. So then you could say, well, I want to do a limit of $5 a month or whatever. And so you can limit it that way. So you tell it that you want to do the $1 video, $2 video, $5 video, whatever amount you want to do, but then you set a daily or monthly limit as to how much you're willing to spend. So just an idea. You don't have to be on the hook for that. A lot of the people that are on Patreon only do like 4 videos a month, or some of them even less than that. So it is a bit of a problem for me because I do so much content, and I'm going to continue doing so much content. Even when I'm out scuba diving, I will be uploading daily videos. And it's just my trick. I'm not telling you how I'm doing it, but I guarantee you I'll be putting up videos pretty much on a daily basis the whole year long, even when I'm offshore. Skinny people are sinkers. Yes, that's right. Yeah, the more insulation you carry on you, fat floats, folks. Fat floats. It's just that simple. So CPR is very important. Sex shouldn't be an issue. Sex is always an issue, Grizz. Fluffy people float. Yep, I took rescue scuba diving, but after first body recovery, nope, not for me. Yeah, Teresa, I agree with you. Pulling dead bodies up from the bottom of the river. You know, we had swiftwater rescue stuff we did in Montana, and man, after they've been down there for a few days, it's ugly. It is fugly. It is fugly, not pleasant at all. But you know, it's something that needs to be done, and somebody's got to do it. And so, you know, I volunteered. In fact, I had a jet drive. I had my own 20-foot jet boat, and so which was kind of fun because you're not allowed to have jet boats out on the river. It's a float river anyway, only, except for rescue. With rescue, we could put so I had a 90-horse jet drive on the back of a 20-horse boat, and we'd take that out in the river. That was a ball. I had a lot of fun with that. Tore the hell out of the bottom of my boat doing it, though. But it was well worth it. Yeah, I'm not much for diving in water I can't see in. In fact, as you guys are going to find out when I start doing my video coverage of me sailing, I'm a wimp, guys. I am a flat-out weenie. Life is too short to be uncomfortable. I'm not going to put on big 7 mil dive skins or you know, dry suits and stuff so I can dive in cold water. Nope, not me. I'm going to be a warm water diver for the rest of my life, and I'm going to keep my boat in the tropics where I can keep nice and warm all the time. It's cold up here, guys. You know, we had a high of -11. That was the warmest it got today, was -11. I'm done being cold. I'm done having my fingers and toes tingle all the time. I want to get someplace warm and stay someplace warm. My head's like an anchor, my butt's like a river raft. Yep, I'm the same way, Chris. Yep. If I'm on the surface, my head's underwater, my butt's up high and dry. That's why I get sunburned so bad. Yeah, Judy, I want that 80-degree water. Yep. In fact, you know, here I'm up here in the cabin. It's, I don't know, minus something outside right now. Oh, it's only -19. -19 outside, 83 degrees here inside the cabin. 83. What am I doing with all of my weapons? Teresa, some of my weapons that don't have any emotional attachment to me, I'm going to be selling. Some are going to be going to my son. And just, if it has an emotional attachment, it'll be going to my son. Otherwise, I'm just going to dump it. I'm going to try to raise all the cash that I can. Guys, I'm going from a pretty stable occupation. I've been a realtor for most of my life, you know, 30-some years now. And I'm going to be going and doing something with absolutely zero income. I'm hoping to build up my YouTube channel and my Patreon to be enough for me to live on. I'm thinking I can live on, you know, 25,000 if I'm out on the boat sailing, maybe less than that. I don't know. I won't know until I actually get out there and do it. Obviously eating a lot of fish for dinner. And so I'm really concerned about how much funds I'm going to have, and it's going to take a long time to build that up and get people to subscribe and like and learn about what I'm doing. So I figure I need to have enough money to last me at least a whole year without having to have any other income. So I'm going to try to squirrel away 25,000 cash after I buy the boat and set it up with everything that I need, just so I have my living expenses covered for a year. Cold water drowning is way better than warm water drowning. Well, you know, at the ambulance service, Teresa, we always said you're not dead till you're warm and dead. Doing ambulance service work in Montana where it's cold, up here in Alaska where it's cold, people aren't dead unless they're warm and dead. You've been down for 4 days. Yeah, so they're trying to float, but snagged in a tree. Yep. Disgusting. Drowning in vodka Warm or cold is better than drowning in water. Yeah, well, less painful, isn't it? Less painful. Rhonda touched base on that I'm doing this safely. Guys, I've been around sailing my whole life and been a fireman and EMT, so I kind of understand the risks. What a lot of people aren't aware of, and I'm going to talk about this in another live stream down the road. But you know, we carry a full med kit with us. I have a jump kit from the fire service area, complete with oxygen, collars, bandages, all kinds of stuff. You know, the regular jump kit that somebody would have if they jumped out of an ambulance and came to save your life. I have that kind of a jump kit. We can do, you know, I can hang a bag of ringers and get a flow into your vein, and I mean, I can do a lot of normal stuff. And I'm going to have all the supplies for that. And what most people aren't aware of is that there are doctors. You can go to a doctor and explain to them that you're going to go out sailing around the world, and so you need to stockpile all the meds you can on your boat. And even though I'm not particularly ailing from anything right now, anything that I might be ailing about in the future, I can get all those drugs on hand now. So all the antibiotics and pain meds and all that kind of stuff, I'll be able to inventory and have a cache on the boat full of those things from a safety standpoint. Yeah, IVs, intubation fluids, all that kind of stuff. We will have all of that on board and available, including O2 bottles. Nasal cannulas and all the fun stuff. Yes. So yeah, I'm going about this very safe. And of course, today's technology we have with weather routing and satellite communications and satellite navigation. It's not as big a scary a thing as what it used to be. Sailing around the world today the technology has really made it pretty easy. I only drink 1.5 gallons a month, and that's without me never putting it down. Okay. I don't really drink that much alcohol anymore, Grizz. I used to drink beer like water all the time, but I've really gotten away from it. Oh, Mark, cool, dude. Awesome. Thank you for becoming a patron, man. I really do appreciate it. Really do. Thank you very much, sir. That broke my cherry. I am no longer a virgin. But, it takes somebody to break the ice, and then hopefully things will flow from there. So thank you very much, sir. I appreciate it. I really do. I will try not to let you down. So anyhow, that was my little talk on scuba gear. I thought you guys or free diving gear. I thought you guys would find this stuff kind of interesting. Maybe next week I'll break out my scuba gear. I actually have it sitting here right next to me in its bag, but scuba gear, there's a lot of gear in scuba gear. So maybe I'll pull that out and we can go into that. Matter of fact, I think I'll pull that out and let you see some of the differences. Because the scuba gear, some of the stuff is really different, and some of the stuff isn't all that different at all. So maybe I can pull some of that stuff out and let you see it. I'm not going to tear it all out now, but we can do it. We can do it next time. What did Lonely Prepper say? I didn't see it. Yeah, I don't care if somebody else drinks, and I do drink. Don't get me wrong. I'm not a teetotaler. I enjoy my beer. It's just ever since the doc told me I've got elevated liver enzymes, I kind of go away from it. You just need a good-looking nurse to go along with the meds. There you go. Yeah, Lonely Prepper, I agree with that. Yep. And I am trying to find some crew along those lines to go with me, so... You have to will me all your homesteading subs before you go open water. All right, Mark. We can do that. We can do that. We'll give you a shout out. Hey, if any of you guys actually haven't gone over and seen Bumblebee Junction's channel, you really should go. Click on his name. If you just click on his name, it'll bring up the button to subscribe. Just click on his name and hit subscribe, and you can subscribe. That way you can jump over and look at this stuff later on. He does some interesting videos. They're a little different than everything else I've seen on YouTube, but the guy knows what he's doing. He makes a lot of sense. I have a shite load of old prescription drugs that I never refill, can't do, and that is why you won't ever find me not sipping. Okay, I get it, Grizz. So you're self-medicating now with alcohol as opposed to all the other prescription meds, and I get that. Hey, Basics, you take care, man. Oh, hauling water all day in the rain. Not fun. You be safe. Thanks for visiting with us. Yeah, there you go. AR-15 pistol video coming soon. There you go. That'd be fun to watch, Mark. All right, well, guys, we've hit our hour mark. If there's anything else you guys want to talk about, we certainly can go ahead and do that. I didn't even talk about the videos I had up this week. We did have some interesting videos up. Very, very few videos. But I did have some videos up. I did a video about the rebreather. That was an old Travelers in Paradise video. And what else did I do? Something else Travelers in Paradise. One of the scuba diving videos and stuff. So shout out to me. Rhonda, you don't need to be shouted out to. Everyone knows they can go check on you. But yeah, seriously, Cheshire Canary. If you guys want to go ahead, just like on Mark's, go ahead and click on her name there. You can see a Cheshire Canary. She's been putting up some real interesting videos about what's going on in her life and some music, which is really cool. She sings beautifully, and she's been putting up some videos of their performances and practices and stuff going on. If you like the kind of big bands kind of stuff, you know, she does a lot of that kind of stuff, and she's very, very good, so check it out. Yeah, I know, Teresa. I've not had much out lately. Wintertime up here in Alaska, there's just not a lot to talk about. Although today I did get the drone out and flew the drone very briefly to film some stuff. It's amazing how quickly the batteries go out in it when it's minus 11 outside. Normally I can go up and fly for 20 minutes. Not at minus 11. I wasn't 5 minutes into a flight and it was already telling me the battery was running low. So I had to quickly return it to home and get it landed before the batteries died. So, in fact, I've got 2 batteries fully charged up and warmed up now, but they lose power so quickly. The drone doesn't do well in this kind of temperature. But I did film some today, and so I will be uploading that. We got about 8-9 inches of snow here the other day. So our snow level is, about 8-9 inches on the ground. It was really sunny today, so some of that snow packed down a little bit. But, this time of year, all the snow that we have now, it'll still be here come April. We will not see the ground again here until April. So that's just the way it is, especially with it this cold. All the snow's getting crunchy outside. And slick. I took a bad fall yesterday. Hurt my left shoulder. Bad enough I hurt my right one. Now I've hurt my left one. So can't win for losing. Okay, what else we got? Anything else? Kiss fan. There you go. I like to keep it simple. I also like the band Kiss. Yeah, the gel and the batteries freeze. Yeah, this is what the batteries look like for the. It's what the batteries look like for the drone. They're completely self-contained. And man, these things, they freeze up quickly. Normally I'll get 20 minutes out of one of these, but I got about 7-8 minutes is all I got today. Pretty short. Wonder why cold refreshes a remote battery, or maybe I just think it does in the freezer. I think people keep batteries in the freezer to make them last longer. Not that they last longer while being used, but that they hold their charge longer so that you can have them on the shelf before you need them longer. I don't think it makes any other difference. You don't like Rocky Top? Oh, no, Teresa, it's one of my favorite songs. Stick one of the hand warmers on it. Yeah, unfortunately, the way this is designed, Lonely Prepper, this slides inside the drone. So there's no way that I could get a hand warmer around it. And then, of course, it would unbalance the drone. It's very, very, you got to be really careful about that. So Toad Sucker. You guys want the Toad Sucker song? Is that it? Oh, geez. Okay. Let me think. How about them toad suckers? Ain't they sappy? Sucking them toads all shore, make them happy. Hug a mug of toad suckers way down south. Sticking them sucky toads in their mouth. I be a toad sucker knowing a duck it. Just find an old toad and you rear back and suck it. There you go, guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Could you heat it slightly? There's no way to heat it while it's inside the drone. I have them warm in the cabin, but as soon as I take the drone outside, guys, it's minus 11. You guys don't seem, and it's in a drone, okay? So the drone's got 4 fans blowing cold air down on top of it, right? Because that's what a drone does. It has the 4 propellers. So that propellers, where this is located in the drone, there's one here and one here blowing cold air down on top of it. Why is it cold air? Because it's minus 11 outside. So I'd say the wind chill on top of this thing is minus 11 plus however much wind is being blown by this to fly the drone. It's actually a pretty weird design. So there's just no way to warm it while it's in flight. So you guys like the Toad Sucker song? There you go. I'm glad you like it. People miss the song, huh? Okay. Well, maybe I'll put that. I still have that recorded. I can put it on the end of a couple videos or something for people still. Need to come up with something new while I'm out cruising. Toad Suckers just doesn't quite go with sailing, but no, Lonely Prepper, I do not need a heated design drone for Alaska. I need to get the frig out of Alaska someplace warm. Yep, there you go. Mark's got it. Yep, move someplace warm where it will fly. Of course, what's going to happen is I'm going to get it out on a boat, and I'm going to end up wrecking the thing by dropping it in the ocean. I will be using that drone while on my trip. I will drop it in the ocean at some point and ruin it. They do make a drone that's very much like the DJI Phantom, only it's waterproof. It can the gimbal, the camera, everything is waterproof. I can actually land it on the water and take off from the water with it. And one of those are very, very quickly going to be part of my my camera kit because I just think it's really cool that you can land the drone in the water and take back off without ruining it. Because this drone, if it hits the water, it's dead. It's garbage. Well, in fact, there's some interesting videos of the drone I'm looking at. They actually tied a fishing string to it and used the drone to go fishing for fish. So the drone's flying and the line's hanging down and the hook's in the water. The fish grabbed the hook and then the drone tried to lift the fish. It didn't have enough lift to pull the fish out of the water, but it did have enough to kind of fight the fish for a while and bring it over to the shore where the guy flying the drone was able to go pull the line in. It was pretty funny. Toad sucking doesn't work with selling got through. Okay. Has its own flotation device. No, that drone did not have its own flotation device. But they do make little you take like little pool float things or little noodles. You can take a noodle, slice it, and put it up underneath the floats of the drone to give it some flotation, but it'd have to be pretty calm water, and it would still probably ruin the camera because the camera is not waterproof. Talk to Drone Girl. She knows drones, water, etc. Okay. The quad, yes, the quad H2O drone. Yes, Sorrenti, that's what I'm talking about. Yep, the H2O drone. They work very well. I think they'd be hysterical, actually. I really do. I just liked it. One of the things I saw in it that I really liked, and what that does is actually uses the GoPro, is what mounts on the gimbal underneath of it instead of a regular camera, or instead of having its own camera. And so the GoPro inside of its waterproof housing is waterproof. Well, what I liked is I could land it in the water, and then the GoPro will shoot underwater video, so you'll be getting, the same view you would have, let's say, if you were snorkeling, which might be fun to do around waters where there's a lot of sharks and stuff, because you could, they bite the camera. At least I'm not getting bit. So, do you know what H2O2 is? H2O2. airy water. Hydrogen, H2O is water. Add another oxygen molecule. I don't. What is H2O2? I'm not sure what happens if you add another oxygen molecule. I don't think it'll take another oxygen molecule. I think it's already hydrogen peroxide. Oh, okay. That makes sense, I guess. I would think it would be hard to get the other oxygen molecule to attach because it's genetically, or it's a electrically inert at that point. So I guess adding the other oxygen molecule, hydrogen peroxide. Cool. Water to the second power. There you go. Little chemistry from years ago. There you go. Hey, I saw something talking about hydrogen peroxide. I bought some hydrogen peroxide. They finally got smart and put it in a spray bottle. I thought it was a great idea. They took hydrogen peroxide and put it in a little spray bottle. This makes it so much easier to apply to stuff than trying to pour it on something or what have you. But that was great. Add sulfur and more O2 and you get H2SO4, sulfuric acid. Okay, now we're going to have a chemistry lesson with everybody, huh? Teresa knew that. Oh gosh, we're going to have to get our little chemistry model out. You guys remember those? The little balls and sticks, and you would build the molecules. I like Grizz's idea. That's funny. Just add water and stir, and you have water, huh? Oh gosh. Okay. Well, this conversation is going to hell in a handbasket. All right, guys. Well, why don't we go ahead and call it for tonight? You guys were really cool in that you gave me some suggestions for some live streams last week, and we'll be pulling some of that up here in the near future for future use, unless somebody has a question about something they want answered. If not, then we're gonna go ahead and call it a night. Anybody? Anybody? No? Yeah, okay, this is running downhill. All right, guys. Hey, I really appreciate everybody coming out and watching. You guys be very cool to one another. Try to stay warm. And we will see you guys next week. Well, hey, Kathy Beals, didn't even know you were here. Thank you, darling. Grandpa will be back in next week to continue haunting you. Okay, Grizz, I'm glad. I took your wrench away, Grizz, because you sounded like you wanted me to do that last week, so I did. If you need it back at some point, I can do that. But thank you for visiting, sir. All right, with that said, we will talk to you guys later. See you guys all next week, and we'll see you then. You guys take really good care of yourselves and stay warm. Bye.